Hello everybody, welcome to the in-depth preview of Newcastle United versus Aston Villa. We've got a lot to get through. We're going to be talking about Aston Villa in just a moment. We're going to be getting on the whiteboard and we're also going to be looking at the Shabitio as well with the formations. So let's begin with how we normally begin with previews. We're going to have a look at Aston Villa dead quickly and then we'll jump over to the whiteboard. So looking at their form, it looks in good reading for Newcastle. They've suffered 5 at the last 6 defeats there. If you look at that. Barnsley at home, they suffered defeat. Ipswich at home. Forest away, Brentford away, Preston, they got the draw at home, they got beat off Wolves at home, so they're not on the greatest win. They've only picked up 1 point, they lost 5, they've only scored 4 goals, conceded a massive 12, so that's an average of 2. And obviously they've dropped quite dramatically in the last few weeks. So they're in the bottom third now of the championship. I don't think they'll go down. I think they've got enough. Top scorers, Kodjel, man who we'll have to watch out for. He's got 11 goals this season. And also just want to pick up on Adamoah, who's actually got 6 assists. He'll play on the right midfield. Well, not right midfield. It'd be like the 3 behind the striker on the right flank. So that's how that's Villa. And obviously they're in a poor run of form, and you ask yourself the question: then who are you going to look out for form wise? You have to say there's not much to go on. You might say, yeah, Kodja's got 11 goals. Maybe he's the threat, which probably is. In all honesty, I know they've spent a lot of money. They signed obviously 4 big players in the January transfer. One of them being Henri Lansbury, who looks like he's fit. That'll be interesting at St James's Park. The Boos, that'll no shadow of a doubt up against Shelvey again. As long as Shelvey keeps his head, I think us as Newcastle being fans will be all right. He'll be all right as a team. Shelvey, I mean. Also, just touching on James's Park as well. Of course, the Gallowgate Flags are obviously also going to be out as well. They've got the giant flag which is going to be on there. I'm going to be in amongst the Gallowgate flag, recording a lot of data, and obviously I'll be putting it on the social media probably during the game as well. Also I'll be on the fan cams as well after as well, so do come along if you are going to be at the game. Have a chat with us and we'll have a chat about the game, of course. Right, back to Aston Villa, how they play is a 4-2-3-1 formation. This is what I think they'll go with. I think they'll go with Johnson in goal. I think they'll go with Hutton at right back, Chester at centre-back alongside Baker, Amavi at left-back. I think they'll play in the defensive midfield. I think Jednak will come in because they're missing that bit of bite in midfield. I think he'll play alongside Lansbury in the 2 defensive midfield roles. I think they'll push Hourihane further up top behind the striker, but I think Jack Grealish will drop to the bench and Kodja and Odegaard will be supporting Hogan in attack. So that's how I think Villa will line up. I might be wrong, but I'm going for that as well. They use the flanks a lot, Aston Villa, so they'll be attacking down the left and right. You'll see, obviously, they don't play out and out wingers, but they like to use the width. Obviously, Kodja's got a lot of the goals in the air, and they're actually good in the air as well, especially from set pieces and corners as well. Good at nicking the ball off you as well, and they're very aggressive as well. They won't treat you nice as well. On the plus side for Newcastle, they do waste a lot of their chances. You know, I've watched a lot of Villa games this season. They can't keep a lead. They just can't keep a lead either. And defending is all over the place. I mean, they struggle against individual players, set pieces, counter attacks, individual errors, left, right, and centre. Obviously, Steve Bruce, former Mackem, coming back to St James's Park as well, spices it up a little bit. And you know what? We don't like Aston Villa fans. I'm going to say it now. Aston Villa fans don't like Newcastle fans. Sobbing the time times 2. It'd be amazing if Newcastle can go up in the Premier League and Aston Villa can't. What we're going to do now is quickly have a look at the formations on the floor with the Shabitio. So we're having a look at obviously Newcastle now. This is how Newcastle normally line up: Paul Dummett and then Clark, Lascelles, Yedlin up here. Now you look at obviously Yedlin. He is more advanced than Paul Dummett because Yedlin will bomb on. And then obviously you've got Colback, we expect, and Shelvey. I think Perez will play in the number 10. Gale will return up top. Gouffran on the left and Richie on the right. Now, if you look at how Aston Villa line up, very similar to Newcastle, they'll play the 2 sitting, which will probably be Jednak, will probably come in. Now, if you look further forward, though, Hogan up top, then you'll have support of Kodja. But this is the guy here, Adamoah, who's got 6 assists these seasons. Newcastle need to be wary because Villa do play on the wings a lot. If it's obviously Jack Grealish, he could be playing here. But I think it could be Hourihane playing here because Jednak will drop back. Going forward, how Newcastle normally line up, we'll normally say that Gouffran is normally tucked in a little bit into here, and then we'll see Richie on the far side over here tucked in. And that's Newcastle on the attack. That's how Newcastle line up going forward. And we are expecting, obviously, Newcastle being at home, to Yedlin to bomb on. And then, obviously, Shelvey will be picking up the ball here. And then what Shelvey be doing is he'll be looking to spray the passes, so he's got more options. You notice he's got like Gouffran, Gale, Perez, and then obviously he's got Richie and then Yedlin bombing on as well. So it's a threat that Newcastle will use. How Aston Villa will concede. I think they will concede. Sorry, how will they cope with Newcastle's threat going forward? I feel this is too much because I don't rate their two centre backs. I don't rate the defence at all. In all fairness, and I don't think the defensive midfielders offer much protection. They are going to concede. I think just going backwards, Newcastle just need to be wary with these 4 players, especially Adamo on the right flank. And obviously Kodja will probably come in. Maybe you might play Kodja up here, and you might see these two alternate with Hogan. Let's get back to the whiteboard. Right, okay, so we've got Aston Villa, obviously seen on the floor how they line up, so let's crack on with it. So this is how they line up if you put it onto the board then. So, right, okay, so what I think is Jednak will just literally sit if he starts. He's going to do the dirty work, similar to what Jack Holback does for us. So Jednak will pick up the pieces, you won't see him bomb on. I think Lansbury will, in possession, try and get the ball out to these guys. And also, he's got a great shot. I mean, yes, I know he's the pantomime villain, but we've just got to watch out for breaking on the counter Lansbury as well. Kodja, I think, won't stay out there. I really don't. I think Lansbury can come out here when they're in attack and not allow Kodja almost to act like as they're playing 2 up top, you know. That's what I think will happen. This guy will want supply. Obviously, he's done marvellously well at Brentford. Hasn't got off the score sheet yet, but we'll see. I think Hourihane will be pushed slightly up further up top. If I'm wrong on the selection, if I am wrong, you might say Jack Grealish play here and Kodja here instead. If I'm wrong on the selection. This guy, what he will be doing is, obviously he's playing out here. What he'll try and do is he'll try and go out here and then back in again to whip it in. That's what Adamo, whereas Richie is the complete opposite because Richie likes to come inwards, Matt Ritchie. I don't think the fullbacks will attack as much. I think they'll be very, very defensive because Steve Bruce will want to stop that rot. You want to stop, obviously, the goals going in, so that I think they will play on the counter at Aston Villa. That's what they're set up to do against us. Let's have a look at Newcastle. Right, okay, the tune behind her. Let's have a look. Caldolo, yes, I know he did that horrible error and he's got a couple of errors in, but I think he'll play in goal. Lascelles hasn't been on great form, but I think he will partner Clark. Dummett at left back, Yedlin bombing on at right back. Shelvey, that'll be interesting with Lansbury, as I've already brought up, of course. Jack Holback, I do expect Jack Holback to come in. There is an idea that he could play Diarmé there, and I think if Newcastle haven't got the result, I think Diarmé coming off the bench and playing there and bringing an extra attacker going forward is a possibility, of course. Gouffran, a lot of people shouting on for Atsu. I would like to say Atsu start, I wouldn't lie, but I think he's going to go for Gouffran. And then Perez, I'll be shocked if Diarmé starts ahead of Perez because Perez had a great game in midweek. Matt Ritchie and, of course, Dwight Gale, who's just recently celebrated the birth of his child. So no doubt, no shadow of a doubt, we'll see the celebration Rockabye baby if he scores. Right, so where I think Newcastle are going to win this is through the middle this time around. This is where I think it's key because Aston Villa are strong on the wings. I think Newcastle just got to be careful of the counter-attack, that's all. I think going through the middle, I think this is key. Just going all the way through this middle is where Newcastle will win this game, of course. So what this would mean, if obviously the midfield is packed, because remember Aston Villa play a similar kind of formation to what Newcastle do. We know this, lad. He wants service. We know this. He knows this. He likes to spin off. He likes to fox in the box. So what he relies on is crosses. Where Newcastle going to get the crosses from? Now, for me, it's never down this flank. It's very, very rare that we'll obviously get crosses coming in from the flank. That's why I think Ritchie has been put left wing a lot of the times in recent games to try and get delivery in because we're a little bit weak with crosses. Don't get me wrong, Gouffran's a great workaholic, but he never gets down the byline and whips it in. Paul Dummett never gets forward. Well, he gets forward halfway, but I mean, he struggles to bomb on. He hasn't got the legs. However, on the other hand, this man will literally bomb, and I think it's a little bit too soon for Nita. I'll be very surprised if Nita starts for me. But Yedlin will almost act as that extra right winger. He can do that. He's got the legs. He's got the pace. Yes, he's suspected defending at times, but going forward, he's brilliant. And that then will obviously allow Newcastle to pack the midfield because if we've got obviously Yedlin bombing on, that's going to make a Marvy, and I think it'll probably be, who did I mention was playing on the left? It'll be Kodja probably. Kodja not want to track back against him. No way. So that'll make a Yedlin bomb on. Even if it's Jack Grealish against him, you'll not want to track back. So this will allow Richie to come in and make that extra man in midfield. So you're talking four attacking attackers, including Gale, and then Shelvey spraying the passes left, right, and centre. You know he's got loads of options, which we've seen on the Shibuya floor. I feel personally Newcastle are going to win this down the middle. This is where we need to be strong. And Jose Perez needs another performance. There's no point having a good game and then going disappearing for a month and having another good game. You need a consistent run now. This is the championship for Jose Perez. You would think he would step up a level. I do think we'll win the game. It's going to be a great atmosphere, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, with obviously the Gallowgate Flags. I'm going to be there straight after work. As you heard, I'll be doing the fan cams, so please come along. I'm going to leave you with a funny moment from Jack Colback. He's doing an interview with NUFC TV and he's getting pelted at with balls. It's not the first time ever that he's had the mickey took out of him in interviews this year. Right, I'm going to leave us and see you later.
Obviously we make 2 mistakes which can happen. I think that's Dwight shooting, I think. I think obviously it could have been a different game, but then in the end we're happy with a point.
It was a great start to the game as well, wasn't it? Going up 1-0 up inside the first 30 seconds or so, thanks to your pass to Jose.
Yeah, it was ideal really. We said we had to come out quick. We thought they would obviously come out quick. There's another one. Yeah, it was a good start, ideal really. We said we'd have to come out quick because we thought